Hello and welcome to the Full Octane Garage. Today we've got a great story for you. I was driving down the road the other day, looked across traffic, and I saw a vehicle that was smoking and then burst into fire all within about 50 seconds or so. The whole front end was completely immolated. Is that a word?
And you were like, wait, I'm driving one of those. Yes. Well, kind of.
So we're going to talk about that today.
After this video was posted on our Instagram, there were hundreds of comments. And so we figured after a number of those comments that there might be a real problem and this wasn't an isolated incident. And in fact, it wasn't. There has been a recall on the Bronco, and this is affecting the Bronco Sports 21 to 23, and that's the mini Bronco, which I always call not a Bronco. And then it's also the 2020 to 2022 Ford Escapes, and they have a turbocharged inline 3-cylinder. I had no idea they even made a 3-cylinder. That's why I say it's not a Bronco, partially.
It's the Jeep Compass.
Yeah, it's the Jeep. It is pretty much.
Of Wranglers, yes.
And so we started digging into it, and there was actually a recall some time ago that the fuel injectors were cracking and causing fuel to leak on hot portions of the engine, causing it to ignite. And they did the recall, they executed on the recall, and then lo and behold, another recent recall came out and said all of the fixes that were done improperly, and you have to do it all over again. And I guess this vehicle, and this is all our assumptions, that this vehicle is one that was impacted in that recall potentially, because why else would it have caught on fire? I mean, that's just not normal.
A comment to make too, 2021, I think the truck has a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. I could be wrong about that with a longer powertrain, but I guess my point is that there's a lot of these are going to be under manufacturer's warranties.
Yep.
So how is that? That would be my first question is, because obviously, when you see this video, that Bronco Sport is totaled.
Oh yeah, there's no cover.
Please don't save my car.
Once a vehicle has any kind of fire, typically the insurance companies are going to total them out. So that's just typical. So if you have unless you have a very unique car that you want to save, let it burn, because it's not worth fixing, honestly. Because they have to. The only person I know that has bought a successfully, and he bought a salvage, that was Hoovy, who bought that Mercedes or that McLaren SLR that had a trunk fire due to wiring. And they totaled that car, but did rebuild it with a new harness for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I would just let the car go. We had a lot of comments about fire extinguishers and why didn't people stop? And
yeah, I'll jump in on that.
Yeah.
Because some of it was directed towards me because I shot the video. That video happened in 42 seconds. From the time that I was sitting in traffic on the opposite side of the intersection and I saw the smoke coming out of the hood and I got my camera out and started videoing to the end of that video where the entire front end of the car was completely covered in flames. That was 42 seconds. There was and the driver had gotten out about the time that I started videoing. So there was, I don't think there was a safety concern for him.
Yeah.
But there's and I have friends that have chimed in that are firemen friends of mine, and they said the best thing everybody could do is just to let that thing burn until they get there and put it out. Because I guess there's a chance it could explode.
Yeah.
Right. So the best thing is get out of the way.
All the cars that are trying to get around it and get out of the way, they needed to. They should not have stayed there and helped.
Yes. No, this isn't a fake video. You can tell by the reaction of the other cars because there's comments in there about AI and all. I wish I was that good.
Yeah. No, we're not.
We didn't manufacture this. That truck caught on fire and burned. So what are the specifics? What actually causes the fire, Kurt?
So they're saying that a fuel injector, which these I believe are direct injection motors, and what happens is the fuel injectors are made out of a plastic material, and they have, when they get hot and expand and contract so many times, I'm assuming that the materials were not very good and they are exhibiting some cracking. And once they crack, then injectors are under very high pressure. And that high pressure is just spurting fuel into the engine compartment instead of the engine or with the engine. You may or may not have an issue with the engine running. It may just still, it may just leak some fuel too, depending on how big the crack is. So
it's probably atomized.
Yeah.
Actually, like a mist.
Yep.
Generally, yeah.
And so that's something that if you have one of these vehicles, immediately go to the NTSB site and see if you have a recall. Check with Ford. Make sure you don't have an existing recall or a new recall. If you think you got it fixed, double check and make sure you're not getting it fixed again, because they do have this as a second recall on the same problem.
Can we put a link to the bottom, in the bottom of our...
If I find it, yeah, I have the National Highway Transportation Board information for the link. I'll try to find the actual link to the recall. I'm looking at an article from Motor Trend that they wrote on it, so it's definitely getting a lot of attention out there.
Yeah, so there's definitely, this isn't a situation where your vehicle's going to make some noise or whatever. It's going to burn to the ground in 1 minute.
Yep.
So this is a big deal. And I would expect the reason that it went up so quickly is probably because it did create like a mist or something, like an aerosol type situation, kind of like gasoline fumes. When you light that, it's not just a liquid catching it on fire. It's everything underneath that.
Yep.
That hood caught on fire at the same time.
And so much of the new cars have a lot of plastic content. The plastic ignites very quickly and just goes up in flames.
How many recalls have we looked at between the trucks and things like that end up being because of plastic components where somebody should have used metal?
Oh yeah, I mean,
the Jags that I've got.
Same thing with
they're replacing the fuel pumps with metal fuel pumps.
Porsche V8s,
Yep.
They had and actually Mini Coopers had a plastic tube for the water line that would break and coolant would disappear and the motor would crash. Same thing with the Porsche. They had a line that was very similar, made out of a hard plastic, and it just, over time, it can't handle the miles. It should have been metal.
So here's a thought, manufacturers. Stop going cheap. Charge me another $500 a vehicle and put metal stuff all through that car.
That's right.
So I don't catch on fire. Well,
I think that's it. I think we're good.
Please leave comments down below if you know anything more about this than we do. This was just some quick research because we saw one catch on fire. I'm sure there are a lot of stories out there from the Bronco community. Just to emphasize, it's not this Bronco, which
yes.
I love. This is a fantastic truck. It is a lot of fun. I love the Broncos, but this is the platform that involves the 3-liter engine, and it must use the same platform for the Ford Escape also.
It's actually a 1.5 liter.
1.5
three-cylinder engine.
Three-cylinder engine.
Yes.
That's hard to believe.
Yeah. So, and they're, like I say, they call them baby Broncos. I call them not a Bronco. And they really, some people love them, but I don't know. This is what I would do if I was going to do a Bronco.
That's right. Man truck.
Thanks for being with us at the Full Octane Garage. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the bell to remind you that our videos are coming up. Don't forget to...
Yeah, check out Driving with Melissa on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube also. And then also check out
Full Octane Insurance for all of your collector car and insurance needs, and now homeowners and commercial and aircraft.
Are they going to pay for this fire?
Yeah, they would. Yeah, it would be covered. I would be going back to Ford on that, actually. Yep. They'll subrogate to Ford probably on that. Yep.
We'll see you soon at the Full Octane Garage.
Oh, wait, I almost forgot. Our legal team made me promise to display this disclaimer before we ended the video. Please take a moment to read it before you make any buying decisions.